Now at 10, COVID cases and various respiratory illnesses are on the rise again in the 4 states. Plus, Missouri lawmakers head into the new session with a plan concerning the Missouri Constitution. And a Joplin woman lets the public know why Braille resources are so important.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
COVID cases and respiratory illnesses are on the rise across the country and right here in the 4 states. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. Newton County health officials say cases have increased in the area, possibly due to holiday gatherings. Health officials at Mercy Hospital have also reported an increase in COVID cases and influenza cases. Officials say symptoms are not as severe as they were when the viruses began, but people should take precautions.
We're starting to see the return of a loss of sense of smell and taste. And so that's, it was at the beginning, and now that symptom is kind of coming back. So, but luckily still fairly mild symptoms that usually last about 3 to 5 days. Usually by day 5 you're much better, and by day 6 you're kind of back to your normal activities.
According to the CDC, COVID hospitalizations have not been this high since January of 2023. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
All right, it turned out to be a nice Wednesday for us today. Temperature is still pretty close to where we should be for this time of the year. 48 was our high, 25 cold, frosty start. 45 is our average high, so pretty close to where we should be. We can go outside. We're dropping back again. Another frosty night. 30 in Joplin, 28 in Pittsburgh. We are dry. We're going to stay dry tonight. Light northeasterly wind kicking in. Look at this, 25 in Parsons, 29 in Miami. Here's our next storm system, and we are watching this as this system is going to track in by Friday morning. So tonight's fine, tomorrow's fine. We drop back upper 20s back to 34 by 10 a.m., but chances for snow moving in Friday morning. Even a bigger system next Monday and Tuesday. A lot to talk about. We'll break it down here in just a bit.
However, the weather shapes up in the coming days. Departments of transportation around the 4 states have been preparing for months. Drivers are put through an intense training that prepares them to drive the trucks and maintain them while on the road in obviously less than ideal circumstances. The idea of being proactive is essential, and when winter conditions like snow and ice make their way to the 4 states, first line of defense usually means salt before the plows even make it out of the garage. Missouri's 5-month annual legislative session began today, and top Republican leaders say passing more laws directed at LGBTQ+ people is not a priority. Bills filed this session in Missouri would make public drag shows a crime, require teachers to notify parents if students express confusion about their gender, and put limits on what books are available to minors in public and school libraries. But Republican House and Senate leaders indicate they will not focus on those proposals. One issue that will be a priority, they say, a plan to make it harder to amend the Missouri Constitution. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly announced today that more than $4.6 million in federal funds will go to the first 6 locations selected for the state's National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Formula Program, or NEVI. The selected locations will fill gaps in EV charging stations along the state's major highways and interstate system. The 2 charging stations in our area will be located at Pete's in Cherokee and Pete's in Fredonia. The Kansas governor's axed food tax plan advances to the next phase, lowering food tax from 4% to now 2%. The first phase of the plan reduced the food sales tax from 6% to 4% a year ago. It also classified what is unprepared food, which fits in that category, which caused confusion among some businesses. One business owner in southeast Kansas says after the growing pains of figuring out what is considered unprepared food and implementing the sales tax, since then it's been smooth sailing.
It was just that initial shock to the system that we all had to experience that was so hard and so difficult to understand. But now that we have everything in the system, it's just a matter of adjusting the tax percentage rate, and it retabulates throughout the rest of our product inventory.
Food sales tax is set to be eliminated altogether in Kansas in January of next year. Swimming might not be on many people's minds right now, but it is for the city of Pittsburgh. The city has already put out the call for lifeguards and other pool personnel in an effort to fill the gaps left unfilled in 2023. Pittsburgh Parks and Recreation Department says January is not too soon to staff the pools for summertime.
A lot of kids do summer sports. There's a lot of travel ball out there, so a lot of your kids do that. But we're going to start in January. We were able to open on time last year. We were able to open the entire year, so we'll get a lot of those staff back. But we are losing 15 to 20 lifeguards, so we want to get out there now and see if we can get them hired.
Even though they have started early, Cecil says some of the lifeguards that were there last year have gotten in touch with the Parks and Rec Department. Tomorrow is World Braille Day. Braille, of course, referring to the raised bump printed alphabet used to print materials for the blind. KOAM's Fernandez Silva spoke to a blind Joplin resident to understand why it's important to have resources in Braille.
Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb.
Kahi Alford learned how to read in Braille when she was still very young.
When I first started learning Braille, it's kind of difficult.
But overcoming the challenges was worth it.
I think that it's important for blind people to learn and be more independent.
Independent. That's the key word when it comes to the importance of Braille.
If they know how to read Braille, then they can find an elevator and know, what floor they're on and be able to get to what floor they need to go to. Same way with restrooms, so you know that you get in the proper one.
For John Alford, Kahi's dad, knowing she can do things on her own is very important.
We won't be here all the time to help her. Somebody's not going to be around all the time to help her. And so the more independence she has and more used to it she is, the better off she will be in coming years.
Braille is a system of raised dots. It can be read with the fingers by people who are blind or who have low vision.
Braille takes up more space than the traditional alphabet. It's often printed in a thicker paper like this one. This is what the Bible looks like in the code.
Over the years, technology has made information more accessible for blind people.
They have other options now to be able to listen to books and things like that as far as books go.
But according to the Joplin Association for the Blind, having Braille signs in businesses and public areas is essential.
If there's not available, she has to depend on somebody else. So she loses independence.
Because then I know which food I'm going to order off the kids' menu.
A priceless independence. In Joplin, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Well, the Joplin Public Library says they have a handful of Braille books in their children's department. They also assist with the Wolfner Library, a free service through the Missouri Secretary of State. The Wolfner Library offers Braille, audio, and large print. For more information, you can go to our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. Later in sports, a triple sport athlete signs his letter of commitment to play for an area community college. John's going to have details in just a few minutes. But up first, lawmakers make the trip to Eagle Pass, Texas, one of the border towns feeling the impact of the migrant crisis.
Casey's has thin crust.
Half off, only at Casey's.
As the political battle over the border crisis heats up, House Speaker Mike Johnson and a group of Republican lawmakers visited Eagle Pass, Texas. That's one of many border cities feeling the impact of the record surge of migrants. Natalie Brand has the latest.
House Speaker Mike Johnson led dozens of fellow Republicans to the Texas border with Mexico, visiting one of the busiest entry points in the country, Eagle Pass.
Today, we got a first-hand look at the damage and the chaos the border catastrophe is causing in all of our communities.
In December, the number of illegal crossings into the United States hit an all-time high of more than 300,000.
Under President Biden, America has laid out a welcome mat to illegal immigrants, smugglers, and cartels.
Congressional Republicans are demanding the Biden administration implement tougher immigration policies. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says his members are the ones at the table.
It's very nice that they have a trip to the border, but the only way to solve this is here, working in a bipartisan way.
A bipartisan group of Senate negotiators worked through the holiday recess. The White House says it's open to significant changes to asylum and border security laws in exchange for funding for military aid for Ukraine and Israel.
We still have to be able to secure the border. I mean, we still have to be able to do something. We can't just do nothing.
The president has blamed House Republicans for obstructing work on border security. While talks continue in Washington, the Justice Department sued Texas over the state's new law that would let police arrest migrants who enter the U.S. illegally. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
4 crossings along the U.S.-Mexico border will reopen tomorrow. They were partially or fully closed last month because officials said they did not have the resources to process the sheer number of asylum seekers. Investigators in Japan are dealing with fallout from 2 major disasters. Officials are investigating how 2 planes collided at an airport in Tokyo, including one bringing aid to victims of a New Year's Day earthquake, which killed dozens of people. New evidence shows the passenger jet had permission to land while the Coast Guard plane did not. The crab crew managed to evacuate 379 people from that larger plane. Tensions and the death toll in Iran continue to rise in the Middle East following a pair of deadly attacks in the past 2 days. 2 explosions took place during the anniversary of a key general's assassination by the United States. Iranian state television says more than 100 people were killed, more than 200 injured. So far, no one has claimed responsibility, and there was no indication of any involvement of a foreign state, including Israel. The U.S. has condemned the attack. A little later, the Chiefs head into the postseason with some Pro Bowlers on the roster. John's going to have details on who made the list coming up in sports.
And we are rolling through the beginning of January with 2 snow potentials that we're tracking. We're going to look at that coming up next. Well, chilly day for us today, but right about where we should be for this time of the year. We had a frosty start, cold start, and then warmed into the mid to upper 40s to near 50 across the region during the afternoon. Looks good right now. Here's a nice shot. This is Indigo Sky. Casino and Resort Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. We have clear skies. We may get a little bit of patchy fog trying to build back in once again later on tonight, but in general, we are dry across the region, but we're tracking our next storm system. Salt Lake City, Flagstaff getting snow all the way down toward Phoenix. We're going to call this a moderate wave. Now behind it, there's even a stronger one, which will affect us early next week. But you can see the upper level wave, which is kicking out toward us as we go through about the next 36 hours. All right, day planner for you Thursday, starting 27, 42 by noon, 46 by 4, clouds increase. High temp right around 48 degrees. Let's go through time. See just about everybody mid-20s when you wake up tomorrow morning, kind of like what we've been over the past couple mornings. We get near 40 by noon, but notice the clouds, mid and upper level clouds starting to increase. These are going to thicken as we get into the afternoon, but still a pretty good day. I think most of us 46 to 50 degrees. Tomorrow night, clouds continue to thicken. And then by Friday morning, we're going to stop at 3 a.m., starting to get a few flurries at this time, temperature sitting right around freezing. Watch this band of snow that works in. Now, most of our temperatures are going to be 30 to about 32 degrees, so this initial band will kind of stick. So we'll have slushy accumulations on the roadways. But as this band lifts through the region, it will start to weaken. So here's 9:30 in the morning. So the least amounts of snow will be southwest Missouri along and north of I-44. Light snow continues the rest of the morning, and then it just kind of fizzles apart once we get into the afternoon. So I think Friday afternoon, notice temperatures upper 30s to near 40, so whatever snow falls will melt very quickly. Through the afternoon, random shower, random snow shower, not much of anything, any snow showers won't accumulate, and then down near freezing by the time we head into Saturday morning. All right, snowfall potential, accumulations Friday morning in the white, most of us, the Metro Pittsburgh, Carthage, Joplin, Miami to Neosho, a dusting upwards to an inch. Now, a little heavier. Iola, Chanute, Parsons, down toward Bartlesville, 1 to 2, 2 to 4. Yates Center, Fredonia, and Neodesha. So we're going to go medium impacts on the roads because I think some of them will be slushy. Overall, the weather impacts, not that bad. Now, this could change things up. As we go into Monday, here comes our next storm system. Rain works in. Northern counties snow. We'll have to see where that rain-snow line really sets up, but on the backside of this system, everybody goes to moderate to heavy snow. Most likely, we're right in the perfect track to get a very heavy snow as we get into Monday night and Tuesday, if it tracks the way it's looking like right now, still 5 days out. 49 tomorrow, 42 on Friday, morning snow, a shower on Saturday, Sunday looks good. Rain Monday, snow Tuesday. We've only had officially 1/4 of an inch of snow so far this year, so we're due because we average 12 a season. So
1/4 of an inch so far this season, but of course it's still early in the season.
it is. We got a ways to go.
Thanks, Doug. Authorities are asking for your help identifying this man who robbed the Tiff City store around 8 last night in Tiff City, Missouri. You can't see him clearly, but they believe the robber is a white man with blonde hair. Investigators hope someone recognizes his clothing or maybe overheard something suspicious. They say the robber carried a handgun, took money from the till, and broke several machines that were inside the store. No one was hurt. Still ahead, McDonald County's Destin Dowd makes his college commitment, and 5 Chiefs are selected to the Pro Bowl. John Dales has those stories and more up next in sports.
It's Chris here with Windows and Mattress.
Destin Dowd has been a fixture of the 4-state sports scene for the past several years, and that's not going to change anytime soon. The McDonald County High School senior announces he's committing to Coffeyville Community College. According to his Twitter page, Dowd will join the Coffeyville baseball program. At McDonald County, he's been a 3-sport athlete. He's a utility player that's part of the Mustang baseball team, which just made a run to the district championship game this past spring. We also saw him play for the Mack County basketball team just last night against Webb City. And Dowd was the starting quarterback for the Mustang football team, which won a district championship and made a run to the state quarterfinals this fall. As of midnight this morning, the transfer portal is officially closed for college football players. Several names familiar to those in the 4 states have left or joined new teams in the past couple of days. Starting first with Christian Carter, the former Pitt State wideout, entered the portal last year after compiling just over 50 catches and just under 700 receiving yards with the Gorillas in 2022. He transferred to Memphis, making the jump from Division II up to Division I, but he only played in 4 games, and he had just 2 catches the entire 2023 season with the Tigers. Carter announces that he's back in the transfer portal again as he enters his final season of NCAA eligibility. Elsewhere, former Arkansas starting quarterback KJ Jefferson has a new home. The 3-year starter for the Razorbacks is transferring to UCF. He's going to play for former Auburn head coach Gus Malzahn. According to the recruiting website On3, Miami and TCU were also in the mix to land Jefferson. Meanwhile, former Kansas State starting quarterback Will Howard still in the portal, but some big news on his recruiting trail. According to Pete Thamel from ESPN, Howard is going to take an official visit to Ohio State in the upcoming days. Now, he's already visited both Miami and USC, and he's also considering entering the NFL draft. A lot of you might be asking, what exactly is the transfer portal? What does it mean for it to be closed? Well, It's a database that allows student athletes to withdraw their name from the school they currently attend, and it lets coaches see who's in the pool of transfer players. As of this morning at midnight, it is closed. That means more players cannot enter their name into it, but those who played in a bowl game get a 5-day extension. On top of that, it opens for 15 more days in April. Graduates also can enter or exit anytime that they please. Lastly, this is private, meaning the public can't see who's in or out of the portal unless, of course, the student athletes choose to share that information themselves. And 5 members of the Chiefs are selected to the 2024 Pro Bowl. The team announces tonight. No real surprises. Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce, as well as offensive lineman Joe Thuney and Creed Humphrey, they all receive the honor. Defensive end Chris Jones, the lone member of the Kansas City defense to be selected. Kelce has the most Pro Bowl selections of those 5 players. This is the 9th of his career. But of course, all the Chiefs players are hoping that they got another game the next week after the Pro Bowl that they can opt out of if they're still in the playoffs playing for the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. All of those players who got in are certainly deserving. I would have liked to see more defensive players get in. McDuffie, Snead.
I think so.
Maybe Nick Bolton. We'll be right back.
To severe ulcerative colitis for
a 4-state hero.
Doug's been keeping track of the possibility, at least, of a couple of rounds of snow over the next 7 days or so.
Yeah, we should get snow moving in here Friday morning. It's going to be light snow, but it will give us some slushy accumulations. The other system we really got to watch is rain switching over to snow on Monday into Tuesday. If that sets up, I mean, it's still 5.5 days away or 4.5 days away. If it sets up the way it looks right now, some areas in our viewing area are going to get a lot. So we want to keep our eyes on that.
We'll be able to pin that down, obviously, as we get closer and closer. Final sports note.
Tomorrow, the Kaminsky Classic basketball tournament tips off at Joplin, Neosho, Carl Junction, and Webb City also taking part.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. Morning show starts at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.